Aj, back here in another video. Today we're about to be reacting to 10 killers who killed again in prison. Honestly, the only one that rolls off the bar for me is the dude that killed Jeffrey Dahmer. Because I think he was a convicted killer, and this shit's on the screen right now. But hey, I'm just let the video roll into it.
Remember when you learned that your father murdered Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yes. It was about 10, I saw it on TV.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at the most chilling instances of convicted murderers who reverted to their old ways while locked up. Robert O'Neill. In February 1980, Robert O'Neill was sentenced to life in prison for murdering 78-year-old Ralph Roscoe Sherrick. The previous year, O'Neill had broken into the home of Sherrick's son-in-law, where he encountered and fatally shot him after robbing the house. While serving his sentence at the Missouri State Penitentiary, O'Neill joined the white supremacist group, the Aryan Brotherhood. His disruptive behavior in prison led to him being locked up in a special unit reserved for the most dangerous inmates. On February 3, 1984, he and two other prisoners attacked Arthur Dade, a black man serving time for armed robbery, and O'Neill fatally stabbed him with a homemade ice pick. He was ultimately convicted of capital murder for the attack and executed by lethal injection.
Good.
Wyatt Busby.
Busby is 7 years into a 50-year sentence for murder and has a lengthy history of violent convictions.
Wyatt
That one actually made me fucking pissed off. I mean, anything can happen in jail, but like it just pisses me off when like the racist background and then he ends up killing a black man in jail. Fucking annoys the hell out of me. And it's really a good payoff that they just really said that he got executed by lethal injection. Good.
Busby was convicted of murder for the fatal stabbing of a man in Houston, Texas back in 2016. He received a 50-year sentence and was serving his term at the Cofield unit in Texas. While there, Busby shared a cell with suspected serial killer Billy Shamirmir. Between 2016 and 2018, Shamirmir allegedly murdered at least 18 women in Dallas and was convicted of 2 of those killings. On September 19, 2023, the two cellmates got into a verbal confrontation, which escalated into a physical altercation after Shamirmir reportedly made inappropriate comments about Busby's children. Prison guards were seemingly slow to intervene, allowing the situation to spiral out of control. By the time the two men were separated, Busby had killed Shamirmir.
Those who wanted justice for their loved ones.
I'm sorry, don't play with a man and their children, especially in jail. You just never know what the hell might happen. Especially like cocky ass people like serial killers that like did those murders and all of that. You just never know. The dude or next to the cell might be fucking tougher than you and you getting fucked up now. And I'm pretty much think the guards did that on purpose. Who wouldn't do that on purpose? I'm pretty sure they got kids and everything, and I'm pretty sure they just probably like let that shit just roll out and just let it happen. It fucked up when you think about it, but like you triggered that whole thing by like talking mess about somebody else's kids. People sensitive on that subject.
Don't feel sorry for the convicted serial killer.
Sunil Ratti. Indian gangster Sunil Ratti stumbled into a life of crime after his father's murder in 1999. 3 people were accused of the killing, and within 6 months, Ratti had tracked down and killed 2 of them, brothers Mehek and Mohkam Singh. These acts of retaliation landed him in prison for life. In 2018, Ratti was transferred to the Bagpat district jail after claiming his life was at risk at the previous facility. At Bagpat, he crossed paths with Muna Bajarangi, an infamous gang leader and contract killer with political ties. Bajarangi had reportedly made denigrating comments about Ratti's appearance, which angered him. As a result, Ratti fatally shot Bajarangi on July 9, 2018, using a gun he had smuggled into the jail. Kevin Roby.
How the hell do you manage to smuggle a gun in jail? I know there's one thing up the up the I'm sorry, that shouldn't be funny as it is, but like, how the hell do you manage to do that? People like to like smuggle shit up their ass, but how is this even possible? People don't check people. It must be a few dirty ass cops or dirty ass guards in there getting paid off. So I'm pretty sure. But like, that's just crazy as hell. You shooting somebody on talking about your appearance. Guess a lot of people are sensitive.
If you watch the early films of director John Singleton, you might recognize actor Lloyd Avery II, who played gangsters in Boys in the Hood and Poetic Justice.
Yo, I heard about this shit. It's sad.
What a punk. What a fool.
The line between fiction and reality soon blurred as Avery became a real-life criminal and received a life sentence in 2001 for a double homicide. Behind bars, Avery shared a cell with Kevin Roby, who was also serving a life sentence for sexually assaulting and murdering his sister. While Avery appeared to embrace a new path in prison, becoming a born-again Christian, Roby turned to Satanism. On September 4th, 2005, Roby murdered Avery in what he claimed was a satanic ritual. Shockingly, prison guards did not discover Avery's body until 2 days later.
Wow.
Joseph Druce. Reverend John Gagan was
Bro, that really is so annoying and sad, bro. I know that he's a convicted killer and everything, but it was probably gang related. But like, it really fucking sucks, and it feel like it's on purpose that they barely even discovered that. There's like always there's like always strict everything in prison. They don't discover somebody. They either think they escaped or planned to escape or did something else. There's no reason a body should be gone. I mean, not gone unnoticed, especially inside of a prison. Like, man, and then especially like really like just irritates me the way he got killed though. He reformed and changed his ways in prison. That doesn't mean he's getting out, but I it just fucking sucks that like why would you kill him for some satanic shit? Like that's fucked up. Ugh, that shit pisses me the fuck off.
a central figure in the Catholic Church's sexual misconduct scandal in Boston. Gagan was accused of inappropriate conduct with nearly 150 youths over a 30-year period. Ultimately, he was convicted of indecent assault and battery and sentenced to 9 to 10 years behind bars.
66-year-old defrocked priest John Gagan struggled to hold back his emotions after a jury convicted him.
In prison, Gagan met Joseph Druce, a fellow inmate serving a life sentence for murdering a man who allegedly made unwanted sexual advances at him. Druce was reportedly a victim of sexual misconduct in his childhood and was said to be outraged by Gagan's apparent lack of remorse. On August 23, 2003, Druce attacked and killed Gagan in his cell.
It was in my head. You know, he brought everything back out of me that I tried to push away.
Although he pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity, Druce was ultimately convicted of first-degree murder. Mac. The death row section of prisons.
Man, dude, you really just do not understand what like goes on in people's head, especially people that have been like sexually assaulted when they were that young. Like it brings up a whole bunch of trauma, and like even if he's like not even if he's like not affected by anything that dude does, but it's just like people like do not understand like how much remorse people will not have toward that person. And I mean, people would never understand that unless you've been through that traumatic. And I feel bad for people that have been through that traumatic history. If I mean, shit was just bound to happen, though.
Hold some of the most dangerous individuals in existence. In 1999, Donald Leroy Evans and Jimmy Mack were among those housed on death row at Mississippi State Penitentiary.
2 days ago, a 12-member jury sentenced Donald Leroy Evans to death by lethal injection.
Evans was a notorious serial killer who is believed to have claimed up to 70 victims, although the exact number remains unknown. He was sentenced to death in 1993 for the sexual assault and murder of a minor.
Evans says he killed 72 people during the 1970s and 80s. He even led the FBI on a 2-day search for bodies in the Arizona desert, but they found nothing.
Mack, on the other hand, landed on death row for the 1990 murder of a man in Bolivar County, Mississippi. In January 1999, Mack attacked Evans with a shank, fatally stabbing him while he was leaving the shower area. He was convicted of manslaughter and received an additional 20 years to his sentence. Victor Castigador, dubbed...
I'm curious of why he did that, though. Was he affected by something he said? Was he affected by the minor that he killed? Like, there's just so many questions. I got to take some research into that one.
the killer from Manila. Victor Castigador was imprisoned in 1989 for the murders of 2 security guards in London. The crime, infamously referred to as the Human Torch murders, earned Castigador a whole life sentence, essentially ensuring he would never be released. Among his fellow inmates at Long Lartin Prison was Sidonio Teixeira, who was also serving a whole life sentence for killing his daughter and attempting to murder his son. While little is known about their relationship in prison, things came to a head in June 2016 when Castigador fatally attacked Teixeira with a rock inside a sock during a workshop. Castigador was handed another whole life sentence and transferred to a top security prison, where he died in March 2017. Vincent Faustino Rivera. The murders that took Vincent Faustino Rivera to prison occurred in Tampa, Florida in 1990. Rivera was convicted of killing 2 people just 10 days apart and sentenced to life at the Florida State Prison. Also incarcerated there was Gerard John Schaefer, otherwise known as the Killer Cop.
I never thought that I would be that close to someone who was capable of doing those things.
A former sheriff's deputy, Schaefer gained notoriety in the early 70s for the murder of 2 girls. Although he became a prime suspect in over 20 additional killings, he was only convicted of those 2. In 1995, Rivera and Schaefer reportedly argued over a cup of hot water, which resulted in Rivera fatally stabbing Schaefer in his cell.
Schaefer carried.
Yo, some of these people just be arguing over ridiculous shit, but like you have to expect that because they're like disturbed in the head and they're murderers. But especially those egos colliding in there, it's bound to something's gonna happen.
However, rumors suggest that the murder was likely a targeted hit due to Schaefer's reputation as a prison informant. Rigoberto Sanchez Velasco. In 1988, Rigoberto Sanchez Velasco stood trial for the murder of his girlfriend's daughter 2 years earlier. He had confessed to the crime shortly after it occurred, only to later recant. Nevertheless, he was found guilty and sentenced to death. But Sanchez Velasco never seemed to change his ways, even as he sat on death row. In 1995, he and another prisoner, Mario Lara, attacked 2 fellow death row inmates, Edwin B. Caprat III and Charles Street, in the yard, in full view of prison guards and other witnesses. Both men later succumbed to their injuries. This violent act earned Sanchez Velasco 2 additional 15-year sentences. In October 2002, he was executed by lethal injection for his initial crime.
Like sometimes like the state and guards just be dirty as hell and just be behind that shit. It's probably just a way of just like knocking off like killers and knocking off like probably like the most vile human beings behind bars, because like you already know everybody just do not give no fucks about like those people that did that over the years. So I'm pretty sure that was probably like a way to just be like, oh, I don't care. He did what he did in prison. I mean, he did what he did to get in here anyway. He's already hated from the public anyway.
Father murdered Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yes. It was about 10, I saw it on TV.
One of the most notorious serial killers in history was Jeffrey Dahmer, who claimed 17 victims over a 13-year period and was sentenced to 16 life terms.
People try to understand how this could have happened in their midst. How did Jeffrey Dahmer get away with murder after murder for 13 years?
Dahmer was imprisoned at the Columbia Correctional Institution in Wisconsin, which also housed Christopher Scarver. Scarver was serving a life sentence for the 1990 murder of a man during an armed robbery. Dahmer and Scarver worked together in the prison gymnasium alongside Jesse Anderson, who was convicted of murdering his wife. While cleaning the gym on November 28, 1994, all 3 got into a heated argument that culminated in Scarver killing both Dahmer and Anderson with a metal bar. He received 2 more life sentences for these murders and was subsequently placed in solitary confinement. What other killers never changed their spots even behind bars?
Honestly, yeah. Honestly, I think that was just like kind of vigilante justice and everything. Even though Scarver killed somebody, but I mean, yeah, even though Scarver killed somebody, like, but it just didn't pale the comparison what Jeffrey Dahmer did to his victims. Like, it wasn't only like he just killed somebody; he just tortured, he cut them up. He was a cannibal. He killed like minors, and it was just terrible how he just got away with that for like 13 years. And I mean, you want some justice, they got justice their own way. But this video was a good video, and I think some of these people were looked upon as like some sort of vigilante justice. Some were kind of stupid. of how like they were in, and some were just due to like dirty cops and dirty state politics probably. But hey, if you want to see some more videos, like and subscribe, and we on the road to 200. Make sure you sub up. Catch you in the next video.